Hi everyone. In today's video, we're going to talk about what is SOW and how to create an SOW document. SOW means statement of work. So this is a legal document that can be created by a project manager or a business analyst in order to make sure that the project is completed within timeline and budget. So first we are going to have table of contents. In table of contents, we are going to have introduction, background about the project, what is the scope of the project, what are the deliverables, and sample content, sample delivery schedule, what are the different reports and meetings, also the service level agreements, period of performance, invoices. So we are going to list like whatever is in that particular document. Let's get started one by one. So on the very first page, we are going to have introduction. So you're going to write about what is this project and why are we writing this SOW document, who is the primary vendor that is going to work with us in this particular project, and what is the scope of this vendor. Okay, so when you need to have a little bit background about what is the agency that we are contracting with. For example, you are working on an IT project and you have to collaborate with an external vendor. Then you need to write down what is this vendor, what is their organization history, and with us what kind of projects they are doing, and especially for this particular project what is the scope, and whether they are going to work in an agile environment or waterfall environment. And when it comes to scope, in scope we need to document regarding what is the goal of this SOW, and also all the details about the project. For example, project completion criteria, what are the different acceptance criteria, and what are the project risks, assumptions and constraints. Also details about the service level agreements. Service level agreements means, for example, if you take a functionality, within how many hours or within how many days that particular functionality needs to be completed. Okay, that is service level agreements. For example, if an external vendor is sending us a file, okay, so within how many hours we should make sure that the file is getting loaded into the database. Okay, and we have to make sure the file transaction between the vendor database and to us, how long it's going to take, and if it's not loaded into that specific timelines, then what is the procedure that we have to do. So for example, the service level agreements is you take any functionality or any whatever data flow that we are creating for this particular project, we have to make sure within how many hours or days that particular functionality will do its job. Okay, that is service level agreements. So the scope is you can always make sure you write the scope in detail, because it's very very important to make sure that the entire essence of this project is documented. Also, you will also write about what are the different services a vendor has to provide you. For example, if they are going to do only development, or they are going to do some kind of production support, or after the project is completed, what kind of services they will provide. Okay, so that kind of detail scope you need to write down. So this SOW is as I told earlier, it's a legal document. So based upon this document only, budget and timelines are finalized. So we have to be very careful in creating the scope of the project. If you don't include anything in the scope column, then the vendor assumes that is out of scope. Okay, so if they assume that is out of scope, then they will not deliver it and we are going to have an issue. So as a BA, you have to make sure that you document as much as possible whatever you feel that is scope of work, and you make sure that everybody is aware of the scope of this particular project. So the next section is deliverables. So in deliverables, we are going to document about what are the functionalities that the vendors will develop for us. For example, like what are the features that they're going to develop, they're going to configure, and what are the features that they're going to test. All that we will be documenting in deliverables section. And also the delivery schedule, that is very, very important. For every deliverable, we need to understand like what is the estimated due date, and we need to get confirmation. For example, in the section 4.2, it is clearly given as what are the number of deliverables and what is the deliverable description and estimated due date. So if you take any particular deliverable or particular functionality, we have to make sure that we get a estimated due date, because otherwise we will not have a proper timeline when that functionality gets completed, right? So when we are always writing a contract for the vendor, we need to make sure that all the deliverables is properly documented and estimated due date is written and approved by the agency. Okay, so once these are called as contract terms and conditions, and we are writing it very clearly in the document that this is the estimated due date and we want this product to be completed within this particular timeline. So because whenever you are creating an SOW document, why we are creating this document is we are going to make sure that the project is completed within a certain time frame and budget. So we need to make sure that every deliverable, whatever we are writing here, has an estimated due date. Okay, that's the primary goal for creating an SOW document. So we have to make sure that every deliverable has a timeline. The next section we are going to discuss about what are the reports and meetings. So we are going to document how frequently we are going to have meetings with the vendor, and whether we are going to have weekly status meetings, and how are we going to contact the point of contact, right? For example, if there are external vendors, we will not have access to their schedules and everything. So how are we going to contact them, and when we are going to have the meetings and everything? So that will be section 5. So next we are going to discuss about service level agreements. So service level agreements is nothing but you're going to clearly write down what is the budget goal, what is the schedule goal, and what is the quality, also performance, also business continuity, also what kind of meetings that we are going to have, what kind of reports we need to generate, and the basic documents for estimates, schedules, analysis. So all the risk management, scope management documents, everything we are going to clearly write down in this service level agreement. This is a very, very important interview question. What is service level agreement? So here we are going to write down what is our total budget for this project, what is the timeline for our project, and what are the different performance. So service level agreement has details about entire project. Okay, so from starting from budget till how are we going to use the change control process. If there is going to be any change in the product, how are we going to use change control and change the upcoming request. Okay, for example, you agreed upon something and then now we are going to change something in the project, we need to use change control process. So all that you will document in the service level agreements. So it's very, very important you document as shown in the screen, and it will help you so that you have a standardized format. The next section is period of performance and invoices. So we need to specifically write down about performances. Okay, so what is the expectation, and how are we going to measure performance, and what is the time period that we are going to measure the performance. So all that we are going to like document here. And the eighth one is invoices. So this is very, very important, like how they are going to get the payment. So what is an invoice, what are the contents inside the invoice, and how frequently like they will be submitting invoices, and how frequently we will be giving them payments. All that will be documented in invoice section. And number 9, we are going to like write down about what is the equipment or the workspace that the agency will provide, or what is the expectation of the vendor. For example, if you take a product based some kind of external vendors, they're expecting some kind of setup or some kind of equipment or workspace, right? So all that needs to be documented. What is the office setup, or what is the equipment setup, software settings that we need to provide, or what is the assumption, like they will be having all the setup, right? So we are going to document all that. What is the furnished equipment and workspace that they're going to have. And if they have like every specific vendor based upon the country and based upon their state also, they'll be having some kind of terms and conditions. So regarding all the terms and conditions for particular agency, also very like we have to include all the what is the local laws for that particular state or particular country. We have to write all that also additionally in section 10. So it is very important you write everything, all this in detail. This is just a sample SOW. So I'm not given anything related to any specific project, but this is like an outline. This is a format. Okay, you can use this format and create any SOW documents, and you can also edit this accordingly. According to your project, you can edit this format and you can add the contents. So the next section is vendor response. So we need to also like document regarding like what are the staff capabilities, and what is the organization chart, and how many team members are there, and whether they have done these similar kind of projects, whether the vendor has any experience with similar kind of projects in the past 5 years, and whether they have enough staff to do this project. So we need that details from the vendors, right? So you will be creating a section called vendor response, and you will ask them to document, okay, like tell me about your staff, and who's the team manager, or who's going to be the give them, like you have to give the vendors like how many people are working, what are the designations and everything. Okay, that we need to document. Next also we are going to document about what is the plan for this project. Okay, so like I said already, we documented this in deliverables, right? Same way we're going to say here when they will be completing this project, how many sprints, if they're going to use agile, like how many sprints it is going to take them to complete each deliverable. Also, whether if there's waterfall also, you'll be asking them like how long it will take. If they're going for agile, then you'll be asking about what are the different sprints, and you will document that. Also, at the last, we are going to document about pricing, like for each services, like how much amount they are going to charge. Okay, so this is very important for every deliverable, how much they are going to charge, how much it is going to take for them, how long it will take, and what is the unit price, and if they're going to like have an extended amount, okay, what is the maximum like extended amount they can have. Also, like what is their team's capacity and all. So you can document that. And in section 12, we're going to document about if vendors has any kind of questions or answers. If they have any questions for us, they can document that in section 12. And at the last, we are going to document about who is the point of contact for this particular agency. Who is the contract manager? What is the agency name? What is the agency address, phone number, email? And if they have any kind of doubts, they can also, this is called as response section. So if they have any kind of doubts, they can document here. If they have any kind of doubts regarding deadlines, or if they have any kind of like doubts regarding the project, they can always document in the last section and they can submit. So this is SOW document. I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for watching.